Hello, everyone. I hope today has been a great day so far for you and that you're pumped about today's Training Tuesday. For those of you who do not know me yet, I am Heidi Reese and in the Dayton Superior's Marketing Training Department. I'm here with Chuck and Errol. We'll talk about them a little bit more, but I wanted to go over a couple of the items. I know you know the drill, but let's talk about them again. So everyone that's on the call has been muted so that everyone can enjoy and not hear dogs barking or babies crying in the background. But please don't let that stop you from asking any questions. You can do that throughout the presentation on the Zoom call through the chat functionality. And especially at the end, there'll be at least a 5-minute question and answer session for you. So feel free to put that into chat as well, and I'll ask them on your behalf. These webinars are being recorded so that we can review them later and look at them and learn more, or you can pass it on to a friend who might want to learn about Kodi. So today we're going to be looking at the Kodi Klip Rebar connecting system. So some of the topics that we'll be discussing are how it saves you time, its stronger and faster, thus better capabilities, it's better than the typical rebar tying methods, and the improvement over worker safety. So with us today, like I mentioned, is Chuck Hoke, who is our National Training Manager, and Errol Jones, our Product Manager for Kodi Klip. So Chuck has been in the construction industry for over 48 years. A lot of you already know Chuck. He spent 20 of those years as a dealer for accessories, forming chemicals, and then following that up with 28 years here at Dayton Superior. As a National Training Manager, he totally understands the ins and outs of our business and is a great subject matter expert. Errol has over 35 years of experience in manufacturing, business development, sales, and marketing experience. And he has an information technology degree from the U.S. Naval College. And like I said, is the product manager for Kodi Klip. So he is the one-stop shop of everything Kodi. So this slide right here, this presentation is intended for training purposes only. For anything technical, please see DaytonSuperior.com. Now, Chuck, lead us off.
All right, thank you, Heidi. I see we already have our first question. Yes, this presentation will be recorded and posted on YouTube for you to have for future access to it. So with that, we'll get started here. We're going to talk about the Kodi Klip Rebar connecting system. Typically what we're talking about with Kodi Klip, the major factor in using and switching over to Kodi Klip is the ease and access of being able to assemble a rebar cage. Now, typically what we're seeing in the construction market, we're seeing a shortage of skilled personnel. Reinforcing iron workers, rod busters, etc. We're looking at it, the unions are saying they're approximately 20% short on personnel. Any of the construction trade workers, they're about 10% for skilled trade workers. There's a shortage in the marketplace. Iron workers, there's about a 9 to 10% shortage in the marketplace. Realistically, as we've all seen across every place you go, there seems to be a help wanted sign. So all occupations that we see are really looking for people to come out and start working. We're also seeing in the structural and iron workers, about a 4% reduction in basically and how many people they need to actually fill all the positions that they want. So with that shortage being said, looking at the Kodi Klips, the Kodi Klip is a automatic rebar tying device. Basically saves you time and labor. And labor typically in a past study has, in most construction projects, labor takes up somewhere in the neighborhood of about 70% of the cost of the project. So if we can save you money and labor, you're going to be more money ahead in your bid package. So the speed of application with this system is second to none. You don't end up having guys ended up with carpal tunnel or strained wrists or elbows or forearms, etc. So this system here, basically, you're going to point the gun, pull the trigger, and shoot. The clip is automatically fed into the gun to allow you to advance to the next joint. Reduced production time. You're talking at overall time frame is probably in the cycle time of probably about just around a second and a half to cycle all the way through. The clips are made from polycarbonate, so if you're wondering how strong they are, this is the same material that they use to make bulletproof glass. So the Kodi Klip, as you can see, is a strong piece of plastic material that is molded to accept the shape of the rebar and to actually grip the rebar, thus making the cage a little bit more cohesive and as far as rigidity, and so it won't buck when you pick the rebar cage up. It doesn't want to rack either left or right. You can actually pick it up and move it. It will stay connected. Of course, obviously, being that it is polycarbonate, the one big thing is it is rust-free. It will not rust. So we don't have that issue creating introducing another product to these concrete slabs that can create rust. Rebar, where are we going to use it? Typically, when you're looking at post-tension table connectors, it can be used for that connection. It can be used for glass placing rebar. It can also be used in the intersection of rebar. Typically, you point the gun in it. The gun has a couple of notches cut out in the head so that when you face the top rebar in the shape of those notches, and let the gun seat in it, pull the trigger, and you will connect the two pieces of rebar. When using it, you can use it for a glass slice type connection, where you can actually turn it 90 degrees to it, attach it to the bottom bar, and then actually physically with your hands, take the top bar and snap it into place. You're looking at this being faster, better, and safer. Like I said, you don't have to worry about rust. You don't have to worry about anybody getting hurt, and you're talking time frame wise, it's much faster than if you had to do it by hand. Great thing about Kodi Klip. You have black bar. It'll work. It won't rust. If you got a black epoxy bar, it won't rust. If you got stainless bar, it will make the connection, won't rust. Same thing with galvanized bar and composite bar. Now, if you had to use tie wire in this situation, black bar, you'd have to use plain tie wire. You'd have to use epoxy-coated tie wire for the epoxy bar. You'd have to use stainless wire for the stainless bar, galvanized tie wire for the galvanized bar. And composite bar, I am not sure. I think that's a recommendation of somewhere between galvanized and stainless you would have to use. But where are we looking at you can use this product? Obviously, the precast concrete industry. Any place that concrete is actually poured is a great resource for this gun to be used on. Especially any place that has small rebar cages that need to be assembled. For small commercial projects, pool construction, where you're seeing a lot more of the specification coming out with the fiberglass rebar or the composite bar being used, so you don't have rust in that area. And any place where you're seeing FRP rebar applications, we're seeing tilt-up wall panels, construction panels throughout the site. So now, we have a series of clips that are available here, and I'm going to turn it over to A-Roll to let him talk about this, because this is kind of his thing. He is the Kodi Klip man. So, A-Roll, if you'd be more than happy to please take over.
Thank you, Chuck. And welcome everyone to the Tuesday training. And the Kodi Klip system has been around for quite a while. Some of you may know about it, some of you may not. But it's a unique system for the application of connecting rebar. And what we did is we color-coded these clips for observation from a distance. And when you're the safety inspector on the line, or you're the steward on the line, and you've got to inspect the rebar on the field, you actually have to inspect it close up to know if that's a 4-to-4 bar or 5-to-5 bar. But with the Kodi Klip system, you can look, and if it's a red clip, then you're going to know that's a 4 connection to a 4 bar, meaning the 4 bars on the bottom and there's a 4 bar on the top. If you see an orange clip in the field, then you're going to know that that's a 4 bar to a 5 bar. And the superintendents that have to come out and inspect all the jobs before the pour, they love this method because they can stand off and actually view the color of the clip and know what bars they're connected to. If you see a white clip, that's a 5 to a 5. Also, the clips have a number count on the box so that the customer can know exactly how many joints it will connect. As opposed to wire, of course, if you're still doing pigtails, or you would know how many in the bundle that you purchased. But if you're doing reel and other kind of methods like that, you don't know is how many you're going to actually get, or how many is going to be lost due to product having to be readjusted. The thing about the Kodi Klip system is if the mat is not laid out properly, that these clips can be removed with a pair of channel locks by just squeezing the top legs from one side. It'll open the leg, squeeze the other side, it'll open leg. Then you can just pull the clip off the bars, readjust your bars, and apply that clip back down by just squeezing the legs back into place and then hitting it with a mallet or something to reapply it. So there's no product waste with the Kodi Klip system. We have imperial clips mostly in the United States, but we also have metric clips for Canada and Mexico. And we have what we call combination clips. So if the customer is doing a number 4 bar and he's got a number 4 tool, and today they're working on a 4-to-4, which is red, but say the next job there's a 3 bar on top of a 4 bar, then that would be a 3 to a 4, and that clip would be violet. So within the series of that clip, we take on the 3-to-3, or a 3-to-4, or a 3 to a 5, 3 to a 6, 4-to-4, 4 to a 5, 4 to a 6, and each color represents what that connection is. So it's really simple to apply with the tool, and it's really easy to manipulate the system. It's kind of like a saddle tie, or it would be a double diagonal tie, because usually a tie is just one joint to the other. If you do a double tie, it'll be cover both diagonal joints. Of course, with the metric clips, same principles, same standards for that. And thing about the metric clips, when you're looking at the 10 series, like the 10 to 10, that 10 to 10 is the same in the United States as our 3 to 3. And when you look at the 6 series, the 6 to 6 being yellow, that would be the same as a 20 to 20 in the metric for the sell to Canada. So all the clips are color coded for that particular reason of identifying the rebar connection itself, as keeping you opposed to having to go exactly up to that bar touch it or see that bar, feel that bar to make sure that it is the correct size for that spec. And the color coding is very welcome in the field, and it's a great selling point. Why tie when you can clip? Like I say, clipping is faster, simpler, easier, non-corrosive. Non-corrosive is the thing. It's taken the country 10 years to get to a point where they wanted to elevate construction products to 50-year, 75-year, 100-year lifespan. And when you're putting corrosive products into the concrete, you shorten the lifespan. But now they're really serious and focused on building products that last 50 to 75 to 100 years, and to put non-corrosive products in them. Versatile, the clip also are cross parallel, vertical, or connections, or just standard. They're strong, very strong product. No motion once you connect it. As far as specs, as far as the side-to-side specs, sometimes call for a 1/4 inch movement or less. The clips are very strong, and it really helps with that process. They snap into place easily with the tool. The tool has a safety mechanism that allow the bar to go easily across the rebar and connect fast when you pull the trigger. And the clips, like I said, are very easily identified. And the system has been really meticulous in helping to save time when it comes to jobs out in the field, like Chuck was saying. That is right now critical of what's going on in the field. And I feel that our competitors with the wire, when they have to use coated wire, their product expands and increases in product, because if they lay that mat out improperly and have to cut that wire, they just lost that product. You can't reuse wire, no matter if it's coming out of a tool or if you twisted it yourself. Once you cut that wire, it's done and you're on to another strip of wire. But the Kodi Klip system defeats that, and the no waste is a real key selling point for this product. The tools come in series, and they're lightweight. We cover from number 3 rebar to a number 6 rebar. We have 4 tools that do that. Lightweight, high impact. When we started in the precast industry, you will find that it's a pretty rough industry on tools, on the people themselves as well. And so we had to make this tool very strong application, because they'll use the nozzle to tap the rebar over. If it's slightly out of place, they'll take that nozzle and tap it over, move the rebar. So the tool itself had to be very durable. All clips it connects in millisecond. Quick magazine, when you need to replace a rack of clips, you just put it on that rail on the magazine there and push it forward. The system is designed that the last clip is as a safety. It will not shoot, and allows you to re-rack and put another rack of clips in there to put a little force on that last clip and make sure it lines up properly inside the nozzle. Energy efficient when connected to air. Most precasters have air. Matter of fact, I would say all precast plants use air. They have air run through the plant. And sometimes you'll find that they'll have staging for the steel reinforcement areas that may be separate or moved away from the main areas, and they have to move these clips, move that product, and they can crane the product, they can forklift the product, because it's very, very sturdy once connected. Of course, we have a 90-day warranty on defects of any product that come out brand new. And we also are working on other products, on other warranty type products just for the precast industry, because that is a production industry. They work yearly. Even up north, we found precasters plants open even in the winter. So it's a great industry for constant production, but we look at the precast industry as a production industry. KTA 4 clip, the tool, that tool clips a series, and that's how we look at it, as series. It clips the 3/4, the 4/4, and within the millimeters, the 6 to a 12 millimeter, 8 to a 12, the 10 to a 12 millimeter, and the 12 to a 12 millimeter. That one tool will clip those clips out in the field or even in the precast industry. We also have a number 3 tool for the smaller clips. The number 3 tool has been utilized mostly in Mexico, Canada, overseas. They use a lot of the smaller bar than the United States does. Then we have the number 5 tool, 3 to a 5, 4 to a 5, 5 to 5, into your 16 millimeters. And then you've got your KTA 6 tool, which is the largest clip and tool that we make. Now, all the tools are just like you see on this picture. They're all the same size. The back end is the same back end. What changes on the tools is the nozzle and the rack to accommodate the clip size for that series. Other than that, the back end of these tools are the same. We have an extension that allows for, you have workers that have days absent reports, DARs, and people get on light duty that can't bend over but still need to come to work. They can attach this extension handle to it and literally walk along, push down and pull the trigger and just connect the clips. I've seen it out in the field where you can hold the trigger and just push the nozzle and connect the clips as fast as you want to move along. We recommend that they utilize the Kodi Klip bag to stage the clips to make the operational even faster. Once they have a bundle of clips on their side, then you could just move along, pull out a rack, utilize the rack, pull out another rack, utilize the rack, and the speed when you have a mat laid out is phenomenal. The other thing about the clip system is when you're doing cages, one person can do a cage as opposed to tack welding. You've got a tack weld process that they'll tack weld it just to start the cage so that they can finish it, the other rebar that has to go on it. With the Kodi Klip system, you can literally shoot your first joint at the base and holding it yourself, and you can go to the other side and shoot your next joint, and you can literally start it, the process just one person. And that is a real key when you have a shortage of personnel. There's a lot of small attributes to the Kodi Klip system. We found that in the precast industry, when they're building mats on one side of the plant and have to either crane lift them or forklift them, the cages or the mats, to the other side of the plant to put it in the vat, we find that the people on that side of the field have to redo, if it's wire tied, they'll have to redo the connections of the joints just to get the product inside the vat. So there's touching this product several times out in the field. If you observe an operation from a company, you'll see how many times they're touching it. And that is a good way to move into them to explain to them that you can touch that product one time. That's all man hours, and man hours are billable to the company. So when you can do something one time, put it in the vat and be done, there's several little savings that come along with shifting to the Kodi Klip system once they do. And they notice that as they use the system. Notice the clip is identified through the series. The main clips are identified within the molds. See the safety in work? You would oil these tools daily as they're used. clip, pretty much the air is at 90 PSI. We'll shoot all the clips, or 65 to 85 for the smaller clips. That is the lineup angle. There's your splice. And epoxy bar is used more and more now, and even the precast industry is starting to migrate over to FRP. Or basalt, that is your fiberglass rebar. If you notice that angle, that 90-degree angle there, that curve, you'll get that question, will it do that? To clear the clips, you just open the top. And the clip should always come forward. If it goes backwards, it will jam on the pins that allow it to push forward. You notice how the releasing is simple.
Clip that grips.
All right, thank you, Chuck and Errol. That was awesome to watch all that and the tutorial through it. So as I talk through these next two slides, just want to give people, I know we've got some questions going on in chat. Keep them coming and we'll get them answered. And for those of you who want to ask some questions, go ahead and do so as I'm going through these. We just heard from Errol Jones. He is a product manager for the Kodi Klip. There is the information if you want to contact him, his phone number. Please no prank calls. I don't think he enjoys that, but he's definitely here to help us with what we need. As far as other resources, we've got KodiKlip.com, DaytonSuperior.com as well. We've got some product pages, as you see there on the left, a landing page for all of the Kodi information on the right. And guess what? Technical data sheets like we normally do. We have one for the guns as well as the accessories, which we went over. And then we also have one for all of the clips. In addition, we have the rebar splicing handbook, among other handbooks that this information can be found in, and the rebar connector tool manual. That's an important one and a good one to look at for the gun and all the components and pieces, parts that are incorporated in there. In addition, we have sales brochures and some cut sheets out there, again on DaytonSuperior.com or KodiKlip.com. I want to tell you about a great Superior savings deal that's going on this month, just for the month of September. It's a Superior deal of the month, and the main takeaway here is contact your sales representative for the details. But we've got a buy one skid of the K-clips, and you get a free clipper gun to go with that size. It's a good deal going on. Again, it's only until the end of September. So contact your sales rep. If you don't know who your sales reps are, just go out to DaytonSuperior.com and we have a contact us link there, and it'll take you right to a map that will give you all the information that you require. So with that, let's check out and see who has given us some questions. Let's get into the chat. I know the first question, and Chuck kind of already answered for us, was can we have this presentation for recording? And there'll be an email going out a little bit later on today. We post these on the YouTube channels as well as our DaytonSuperior.com website under product videos. They will definitely be on the YouTube channel for you to access later on. That email that comes out later will let you know that it is available to do so, and you can send that on to your coworkers and they can watch it. The other question, are you able to tie rebar mats on the ground and then pick it up with a lift to place? Once again, are you able to tie rebar mats on the ground and then pick it up as a lift to place?
Yes.
Yes.
You can basically just attach the strap to the rebar. The cage will be constructed in such a manner that the Kodi clip will carry the weight of the rebar being, the additional rebar being picked up and placed. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we recommend when you're craning large mats or even small mats, of course, you're going to have a bottom rebar, and we suggest that you hook to that bottom rebar when you're craning. Just hook it to that bottom rebar, and it'll get to that next destination just like you created it at the reinforcing station.
Fantastic. Are there any other questions? So I did say there was 3 questions, but it was actually 2, just one together. I do want to remind you that we have past Training Tuesdays out there, again, on the YouTube channel for Dayton Superior, as well as DaytonSuperior.com. So yeah, next week I'm going to be out, so it's going to be the Chuck Show, so that's exciting. Just wanted to give you a word of warning that you're not going to hear my chipper voice. Maybe some of you are glad about that. But next week will be Training Tuesday. We're going to be talking about the infrastructure topic on the roads and bridges, and Chuck will be going over that with us. So when you get your email today letting you know about this recording, go ahead and sign up for that one, and then we can see you next Tuesday as well. All right, so if there's no other questions, that's it for today, and I want all of you to have a very happy Tuesday. Thanks for coming.